All right, we are live with Buck and 2MC. Obviously, Buck is here, but on audio only as she still continues to recover from a wicked car accident almost a week ago now. Wasn't it Sunday when that happened, Alexis?
Yep, Sunday night.
Obviously, you're still not anywhere close to feeling up to par, but I appreciate you being here. That was obviously a tough game. What were you able to watch most of it, and what are your initial thoughts?
I was able to watch pretty much all of the game. South Carolina looked like a team on a mission. I mean, you've seen it, I've seen it, I felt it, I played in it, and they had that. And our girls' fault, they played hard, but we had too many mistakes for SEC semifinal game. Too many turnovers, too many missed box outs that led to boards. But at the same time, we played hard. I mean, it'd have been nice to see Renee Davis drop another 30 piece. That would have helped out a lot. I think Jordan Walker played extremely well today. It wasn't the worst game. It wasn't our best game, but we could have done more. We could have done better in certain areas, especially, the turnover area.
Yeah, that hurt them. I was concerned when I saw the officials that were listed because the officials in the first semifinal, they called it more like an SEC postseason game. They did not. They let them go, and they did not insert themselves into the narrative of the game. And in this game, Tennessee had 7 fouls in the first quarter. And, I mean, they just got completely out of rhythm. Now, if you got to bounce back from that, yes. But it is certainly not the expectation I have of an SEC semifinal in terms of just be better, for lack of a better way to put it. I said on Twitter, we desperately need, if there's some young people out there, the women's game needs better officials. And if there's some young folks out there that are looking for a career path, please consider it. It's the game is better, the skills are better, the physicality's bigger, athleticism's better, and the game, in terms of how it's called, just has not kept pace.
Well, yeah, the game is definitely evolving. You just, from a referee perspective, just call it like a basketball game. It's not a girls' basketball game; it's a basketball game. So expect it to be physical.
And the part I noticed too is that Tamari Key is a sophomore, and she's going against a sophomore, and let's let those two play. Let's let those two go at each other without the way it was called in the first quarter, then the way it's called in the second quarter, completely different game. And did Tennessee let it get to them? Yes, they did. You got to rise above that. But I just wish that this game would have the officiating that is the quality of the game we're watching.
Right. No, I definitely understand what you're saying. How do y'all feel about, tonight, the refs, the calls, how our girls played, how they handled it? Because there were calls, bad calls on both ends.
Yeah, but when one team has 7 fouls in the first quarter and one team has 3.
Yeah, I know. That's definitely lopsided. Completely.
Tennessee doesn't have Tennessee used to have such a talent disparity from other teams that Tennessee could overcome that. Well, that's not where the game is anymore, and it's very hard to play a game when the whistle blows and it just completely disrupted the entire rhythm of the first quarter, and then they start to even it up because they don't want it to look bad, and then of course South Carolina's getting frustrated, but
right.
It's I would just like to see Tamari Key be given the same grace that other posts are given, and she's not getting it at all.
Right. Nah, yeah, I definitely see what you're saying, Maria. We gotta. It's not fair. It sucks, and it's different, and we gotta figure out how to. If this is what it's gonna be, unfortunately, we have to figure out how to win when it's like this.
Yeah, I mean they do, and I mean, I mean Kelly's doing all she can, short of getting a technical foul, which you don't want to do when you're trying to get in a game. But it's just it's a part of the game I don't like, and it takes away what could have been a great semifinal game because Tennessee and South Carolina can both play. I mean, it could have been one heck of a game. I mean, Tennessee, despite all of its turnovers and bad shots and foul calls, was still within 13 of this game. And then once they get it down to 13, there's 3 straight fouls called, and it just seemed to suck the momentum out of the game. And anytime Tennessee tried to get it going, Trish Jackson said we can't let whistles get in our heads. No, and Tennessee's done a pretty good job this year of not letting it get in their heads, but it got to them. It got to them today. And then South Carolina's defense was outstanding. I'm not going to take anything away from their defense. Like you said, they were motivated, they were engaged.
Yep.
And once you see that you can get away with stuff, you're gonna do it even more. I just think that Tamari Key needs to be given a lot more grace. And I don't want to hear that she's an underclassman because I watched another underclassman be able to do a lot more things than Tamari was able to do. You're going to do it even more.
Yeah. I mean, it just sucks. It does suck. But at the end of the day, you're coming into the SEC semifinals against a team you just beat, who you know is coming out for blood. So my thing is, let's go out swinging. If the refs are going to call these little ticky-tack fouls or not make the right calls, let's go out and give them a reason to make these calls. Let's at least make the other team feel it. Because you know South Carolina is going to come ready to fight, to battle. And we gotta be able to take that, but also deliver that same type of physicalness. And if we get the fouls, we get the fouls because they're calling them anyway.
No, I agree. The ticky-tack fouls are not worth it. And I guess specifically what I noticed is that Tamari Key having clean blocks and getting called for fouls is hurting Tennessee.
I mean, absolutely. We need her on the court.
And so what do you tell her? I mean, you had a clean block twice. Her first foul was a clean block, and they're going to call a foul on you. And I mean, I don't know what you would even say to Tamari about how to fix this, because the only thing that would fix it is if she backs off the player, but that's not how you want her to guard people.
Maria, I'd have to go back and watch those fouls just specifically over and over again. It may be telling her, listen, don't jump, every time. It might be something like, don't try to swing, to block it, go straight up. And when they hit your body, continue with your hands straight up. I mean, there's things to try to correct it, but there's going to be bad calls throughout the game.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm frustrated for Tamari because I could see how frustrated she was. And when she came out, Kelly put her arm around her. Kelly understands. And somebody else said, let's see. Kimberly said, I think they were exhausted, short shots and turnovers happened. Yeah, Tennessee was hit front ironing a lot of shots. And that's an indication of fatigue. And if you play that night game, I mean, we were still doing interviews here at 11:30 last night.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the format of the tournament. And those things are, you're almost better off being the 4 seed than the 3 seed in terms of when you play. But of course, you want as many wins in the SEC as you can. But yeah, Tennessee, Ray and Renaya they combined to go 6 of 23, and they were pressing, trying to give Tennessee a spark, and then Tennessee just couldn't get its cylinders firing at all today.
Yeah, we struggled. And again, shout out to South Carolina's defense. They did well. Watching and listening to the game, the key word that Coach Staley gave her players was deliberate. So every action, every call, every layup, every attack, every help, it was deliberate actions. And I mean, that goes if we were doing the same thing, I always say attention to details, and we didn't have that, and they did. Even though they still had turnovers, they had missed layups, but they were pretty much, as a whole, very deliberate of their actions and their effort today.
Yeah, I don't want to take anything away from them. It was not South Carolina's best game. They're capable of playing better, but they certainly did enough and set the tone and had Tennessee on its heels all game long.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that Tennessee was still within 13 points in the third quarter of that game is just an indication of how close Tennessee is, how much that gap is closed. That the championship tomorrow could get interesting. Of course, I want to see the officials. I mean, I'm at the point every game I want to see who's calling the game, because I've got a real good idea of how it's going to go.
You got a list?
As soon as I saw the three that were on it, I'm like, this is not going to be. They're going to whistle everything. It's just going to be a foul fest. And
that was funny, Maria. You're exactly right. Even as players and coaches, we know, like, oh boy, we got this ref or so and so. Okay, I'm going to foul out. I understand what you're saying. I agree.
Yeah, and I hate that that's such a big part of the game, that I need to see that official list before I can make any sort of prediction of what's coming. And again, I mean, it's not like South Carolina has not been on the receiving end of some very bad officiating this year. It's
right.
It's game wide, and the college game needs better. And I don't know if you got to look at the job itself, the travel, the benefits. They're all contract workers. You don't actually work for the SEC. You're an independent contractor, and some people have other jobs too, and they do this as a second job. So I would just like to people talk about doing those white papers on improving the game. I think you need to start with the stripes and figure out how to make it a more appealing job and how to get more people into the pipeline.
Yeah, it's kind of tough. Like, they start really low, they start you out, you have classes or whatever, and you have to start out, like biddy ball or the younger teams. Then you can do middle school, then you can do high school, college, pros. That's kind of their structure. But yet, like you say, when you get to college and pros, like, why are they still so terrible?
Yeah, and Karen Vogel, Jessica Gwynn are asking, are there any oversight repercussions for bad performance? Do the refs get graded and evaluated? Yeah, they get evaluated and graded, but there's nobody else there. It's like you got 15 people and you need 12 of them. And if 14 are no good, you still need 12 of them. So it's a problem that goes deeper than just this game. There is not a pool of officials that are to the level that the game needs to be. And that's what I've been saying this for years now, that's something the game needs to address, is how do we get better officials into the pipeline?
Yeah, that's let's figure that out, Maria. I know you're going to do your research.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad that I can look at a list and just start shaking my head and know that, okay, this is going to be a mess. And part of it, the WNBA officials, Karen mentioned they train the NC. There's overlap. And sometimes it's a matter of how the coaches want things called and what the points of emphasis are. So there's a ton of WNBA officials that you see that are also in college basketball. So it's not a problem we can solve tonight, obviously. Tennessee, they got to Saturday. That's a big step. Now you got to get to that championship game, and you got to win it. I think the SEC is, as usual, Alexis, and you know this, they're sick of each other. They're sick of beating up on each other. You basically want to heal up and get ready for the NCAA tournament.
Oh, yeah. And I'm excited, for the NCAA, for the NCAA tournament, because they are tired of beating up on each other, and I'm sure they can't wait to get a chance to beat up on other people outside of their conference and prove why the SEC is the toughest conference.
Denny said, do you think they'll be able to bounce back stronger from this loss? This one stings. I think so. For one, I mean, you've got 10 days off before you play. There's a whole lot of time between then and now to get some rest first, and then there's some players that are walking wounded out there, and then get back on the court and start getting ready. So yeah, once the NCAA postseason starts, even though it's going to be weird format, I mean, I think they'll bounce back and be ready to go. In terms of where do they end up now, Karen Vogel asked, I don't know what the seeding looks like. I've got to look at all the criteria and the net, and I mean, I don't know. I still think Tennessee's probably a 4 seed in that top 16. Of course, it doesn't particularly matter if you're 14, 15, 16. You're not going to be opening at home because everybody's got to go to Texas. So, and we got some comments about Jordan played a good game, meaning Jordan Walker. Yes, she did. She did play a good game.
Yeah, she brought it.
And she did not play point guard at Central Michigan, so she's still growing into that role. And as now that she's had a full season, more or less, I mean, they played 22 games. That's going to help. Jordan Horston, obviously just a sophomore. Also, I mean, she plays hard. She plays excellent defense. She the double Jordans, as I call them, they both had 11 points each. They were actually the high scorers for Tennessee. Renaya Davis and Tamari Key had 6 rebounds each. You just look at all the keys that Tennessee has. They have so many good pieces if they can just get everybody all together and firing at a high level on the same page.
Yeah, and the good thing is we will be in the NCAA tournament. So, ladies, hold your head high. I've been there. When you're in the SEC tournament and you lose, the outcome is not what you want. But guess what? You still have the big dance. You still have the NCAA tournament. Stay focused. Stay confident. And go back to the drawing board. You know, trust your coach, trust film, and get better. You know, try to fix your mistakes and individually hold yourself accountable and do what you know is needed to help the team win. Every single game, you know, set your goals and you have to reach them. And your individual goals, obviously, we're going to connect. We should all be on the same page. We should all want the same thing. We should all know what our assignments are. I'm sure Coach Kelly has made, you know, what is your duty? What are you supposed to do? What is your role? Ladies, know your role and fulfill it. That's it. And
Karen wanted to know, actually, I'll go higher than Kimberly. When is the selection show? It's a week from Monday. So the women's moved to Monday years ago instead of a week from tomorrow. So it's a week from Monday, 7:00 on ESPN, and then the tournament will get underway on that following Thursday. Karen asked, will we be doing shows from now through the NCAA tourney? Yeah, we'll definitely do a Wednesday show. Alexis, I know that's dependent on how you feel, but we will continue doing our shows on Wednesday. Obviously, Wednesday of next week, we'll be talking about getting ready for the NCAA tournament and all of that. So yeah, we'll definitely keep this up through the NCAA tourney. Adam wanted to know, do you think us playing in a zone hurt us any? Seems like we played zone longer than I would have liked against South Carolina. Plus, we were a step slow, it seemed like. Tennessee was a step slow, and I attribute that to fatigue from playing late last night. When you're playing in a zone, sometimes you're trying to protect yourself from foul trouble, and Tennessee clearly was having foul issues. But, Alexis, what do you think? Do you think they stayed in the zone a little longer than they should have?
At times, yes. I think the zone worked in spurts. It forced, you know, South Carolina to move the ball and think about their shots. But yeah, there were times when I was like, why aren't we pressuring? Why aren't we up? Full court man, something, denying every pass. But, you know, she had a plan. And the players did as they were told. So we just got to figure out a way to know when it's time to adjust or come out of it. And sometimes within the game, like you say, whether that's foul trouble, because you had Green in foul trouble. I mean, not Green, I'm sorry. Cassie.
Cassie,
No, Cassie
Tamari, yeah.
Yeah, Key got in foul trouble, but Cassie was in foul trouble early.
Yeah. Cassie got actually the first foul.
Right. And of course, fatigue. We said it. Their shots were short. They were tired. Coach knows they're tired. She's trying to save their legs and make runs when they can. So I understand why they stayed in that zone to a certain extent. But as a fan watching it, well, of course, and it's easy to coach when you're on watching it on the TV or in the stands, though. So I think that they'll, both coaching staff and players will have a lot to learn from this game, but I'm very confident that moving forward, we'll be very well prepared for the NCAA tournament.
Kelly made an interesting point. She said this team wants to win so badly. They want to do well. They want to play well. And that's half the battle. And she said, yeah, this one stings. And she goes, and it's going to hurt, and it's going to hurt overnight. But she said she thinks tomorrow they'll be ready. They'll okay, that's what happened. Let's get better. And on top of let's take some days off. I mean, I'm out of gas at this time of year. I mean, I can't imagine a player. I mean, I look forward to like God. I've got a week. I don't have to track games and pregame stories, and I can just sort of for a week live a semi-normal life.
Right.
Obviously, we'll still do our show Wednesday, but yeah, I would have loved to have seen a Tennessee-Georgia final. Shout out to Georgia for putting up a big lead on A&M, losing the lead, and then coming back to win it, putting it away in the final minutes of the fourth quarter. Georgia was picked 9th in this league, and now they're playing for SEC tournament championship and finished 4th. So just goes to show you how tough this league is all the way down.
Exactly. That's why SEC is the best conference.
It is. If you want to make a name for yourself, it's a heck of a place. It's a heck of a place to do so. But like I said, I don't want to take anything away from South Carolina because they played hard and they hit some big shots and they got their running game going. I just would like, as I've said so many times, I just want the officiating to elevate to the quality of play. That's all I want.
Marie, I believe that the players and Kelly, that's all they want to.
Yeah, and we got to figure out how to do this. I don't know that I've missed anything. I know it's late. I know Alexis has got to get some rest. Trish Jackson said I was impressed with Jordan driving to the hoop with the big girls. She went right at them. I like it when both the Jordans drive. They you don't want to get too deep because those bigs will send the shot away. Plus, yeah, Jordan Horston is 6'2". I mean, she plays. She's got power forward size. So Tony Anthony Hill said this team has grown up so much. I'm proud and happy. Tony, that's an excellent point. I mean, Tennessee is better than they were in December, and that's what you want. And they have a better understanding of what they're trying to do, and they really care. I mean, they were. They don't want to lose. They didn't come here to lose. So both Jordans held their own. Jessica Gwynn said, would love to see her be more selfish at times and look to score. Jessica, I think I know exactly what play you're talking about. Jordan, and I think she gets paranoid about charge calls. But she pulled up. I mean, she thought about going onto the rim, but then she pulled up and tried to dish it inside. And the result was, I think, a fumbled pass or a missed shot. I can't remember exactly. Tennessee lost possession. And Kelly talked to her during a break. She put her arm around her and was talking to her, and I assume she was talking to her about that exact thing. In that case, go ahead. You take the shot. But that's a case of where, she's had those charge calls and it gets in her head.
Yeah, she's going to have to continue to mature, mentally and emotionally, because you can't be worried about that, especially because the defender wasn't really in front of her yet. She actually had a slight advantage. I thought she was going to pick the ball up and stride out to get the M1 because she had the position. When she stopped, I was completely confused. I'm like, okay, they've been, blocking shots, whatever. I'm thinking she's about to pump fake. Then she goes to throw the pass. North Carolina gets a hands on it, steals it, goes the other way. I see what you're saying, and I can understand, especially in the type of game and things aren't going well, and you don't want to be the one to add to that. So it's a lot of things that's going on in her head, but I would like to see her be able to, have enough confidence in herself to say, I got this. I'm here. I'm going to take it all the way. Or if she was going to make that pass could have been made 2 or 3 dribbles earlier. Then we're looking at, and then we're talking about how Horston has great court vision, made a great assist to Destiny with a finish in a layup, right? But that's not what happened. So, if anybody that talking to Jordan Horston, tell her keep her head up. You just got to play through it. You can't psych yourself out. You've been all the reps, all the practices, all the strength and conditioning workouts, everything that you've been through. You have to just trust that it's enough, and you just have to play. And if the refs call 5 charges on you, well, damn it, make sure those charges you went hard and put somebody on their butt. You hear me? That's it. But don't allow anyone to take you out of your game, because mentally, once you're not all the way locked in, that's when more mistakes happen. That's when frustration sets in. Effort may decline. Just, it's a domino effect at that point.
Jessica Gwynn said, agree, Alexis. When she gets that elite level of confidence, she will get there. And yeah, I agree. And I think it's coming. She loves the game, and you can't teach that. She absolutely loves the game of basketball. And that makes it easier for any player that you want to be out there and you love to be out there. She's kind of like you in that regard, Alexis. She wants to be on the court. She wants to have a ball in her hand. Beth wanted to know, will we drop a seed line? I don't know. A lot of it depends on what else happens in other tournaments. Are there upsets? Or does everything sort of go as planned? I still think Tennessee's a top 16 seed. And that's certainly what were they the last tournament they played, 2019? I think 11 seed. So they're definitely trending in the right direction. And I think I've hit all the questions. I know. Oh, Trish Hepner, I wanted to bring this up yesterday. I forgot, Alexis, because you're a part of this. That win yesterday in Tennessee's 76 years of really being able to record history of games with now has 1,400 program wins, the first Division I basketball team to ever reach 1,400. So you were a big part of that. So congratulations to you, every current Lady Vol and every former Lady Vol.
Thank you. Yeah, that's pretty dope. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks, Trish, for that reminder. Well, I know Alexis is tired, needs to go to bed. I got to write and get home. I'll probably go home in the morning, not tonight. Don't want to go over the mountain in the dark. I'm too old.
Yeah, don't do that.
No, I'll get a good night's sleep and head out tomorrow. But thanks, everybody, for being here. Thanks for always supporting Buck and 2MC. I don't think I brought up Orange Mountain Designs the whole time. I hope Terry's not watching. Terry, I am so sorry. Please support OrangeMountainDesigns.com. They got here. They were selling stuff on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, the SEC tournament. Already starting to make plans for Nashville, which will be in 2022. So please support OrangeMountainDesigns.com, Blue Water Climate Control, and Tennessee Tap House. And I heard a little
Garbuckle. Little Chica Garbuckle over here making noise.
Yeah, he's like, Mama, get done, man. Get done.
It's bedtime because she was asleep before the podcast, and now she's up rowdy.
You go get some rest. Tell Sandra to get some rest. Thanks for coming on, and I'll let you take us out of here because that's what you do best.
Thank you, Maria, and thank you everybody that is watching, whether that's on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or you simply went to volunteerroadshow.com. We appreciate you. Make sure press that like button, press the thumbs up, but most importantly, please share. All right. But until next time, we appreciate you. We love you. And as always, go LadyVols.
Peace.